Hello, everyone. Thank you for your questions and comments. So today I would like to speak about an interesting topic about certain phrases and words that have a certain meaning in our reality, or we give them meaning, and how through these words we either gain access to someone's energy system or body, or we grant that access. And so I would like to start with the word, I love you, because we're living in this day and age where everyone is imbalanced, and whether mentally or emotionally, and is codependent on other people's energies. So in this day and age, such words as I love you, I adore you, I appreciate you, but especially I love you, become sort of a key or the access point to someone's energy system. Because a lot of people use these words to gain access to someone's energy system without actually meaning what they say. They use it as, you may say, it's a trickery, it's a certain energetic, spiritual, emotional, mental manipulation. Because from the childhood, say your parents tell you that they love you. They tell it so many times. And so you think that because sometimes they're genuine, sometimes they're in a rush and they just say it without meaning. But you hold on to these words for dear life because you believe that these primary caretakers mean it really. Because you are in that vulnerable, natural state where you really, if you say it back, you really mean it. So there is a difference between a person who uses this to get energy, because actually when they say it, they do not mean it. But the other person who responds actually means it, and so they give them access and they give them energy back. So a lot of narcissistic personalities or different people who are mentally and emotionally imbalanced use these words to gain safety, to regain control over someone or a situation. As a child would use these words to get validation, confirmation from their parents that they are actually important, that they really exist. And so very often, imbalanced personalities who are attention-seeking, who are, or validation-seeking, or in other words, energetic vampires would use these words in a artificial way, not genuinely, to simply invoke this frequency of love in other people so that they can actually receive a genuine supply of that energy. And a person who is authentic, which is rare but does exist, or who is in that true state of love, while they are saying, I love you or I appreciate you, there is an emotional, subtle context which can be felt. So it is the wave, the energy of giving, the generosity that is expressed through these words. And this is how you can perceive. Whenever you are with people, interacting with people, forget about what they say, perceive the energy behind it so you can understand the true motives and the true intentions. Very often when people are called out for their behavior or they are criticized, they may use these words to mislead others so that other people would instantly open up. So it becomes sort of like a mind control, the activation of this frequency where they simply need to regain control over you or get something that they can't generate themselves, which is the case with narcissistic personalities. Most of the people have narcissistic traits, and then to my mind, again, I'm not a therapist, but to my mind, all the other mental disorders and issues sprout out from the same one root, which is a corrupt false identity. And so narcissism is kind of at the root of all of them. And so narcissistic love uses these words to receive validation or attention from people who are truly being that love or emanating, because they need that energy of love. They can't generate it within themselves. Or if they can generate, it is more of a lustful energy or emotional outburst rather than the genuine emanation of unconditional giving. Because true love is unconditional giving. It's a higher frequency. It is an expression of genuine self that touches the other. But when people just use this without that energy, it becomes a simple tool for manipulation. And so a genuine person gives love without expectations, because the expression of true love is one thing. The expression of verbal or words, the expression of love verbally, very often doesn't carry that same emotional and spiritual charge. Emotional maybe, but not spiritual. So the deeper we know ourselves, the deeper we understand how this reality operates behind the scenes. So we look at the subtle aspect more than the physical, and then the physical aspect kind of stands out in a richer sense for us, so we understand what is what and what people truly mean. Because people may say whatever they say, their actions are the emanations of them, of their true frequency. And we cannot change it, and we should not. But we should accept the fact that if we are not receiving the same energy charge that we're giving, then this is already a frequency mismatch. And no matter how people try to verbally persuade us, we have to look at the energy exchange. And usually when you have improper energy exchange in a relationship, it means you're not relating properly. It means that there is a frequency mismatch, and this relationship is doomed. No matter what you say or what kind of role you're trying to play superficially on the surface and the physical level, the energy will dictate what's going to happen. It will ensure the future development of the relationship, because the energy, if it's in the proper way exchange and the frequency is equal and maintained on a certain level, through whatever physical actions or words, then this relationship can be long-term. Otherwise, any relationship, and it doesn't concern only romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, and whatever other relations, if there is frequency mismatch, one or the other, or both people will feel some sort of a dissatisfaction. The feeling of suffering, the feeling of dissatisfaction, the feeling of I'm not loved, but kind of not being able to express it verbally, is exactly that, is because one does not receive the same energy that one is vibrating or is trying to emanate to give the other. And so even though people can fool you verbally, they cannot fool your body and your consciousness, because your consciousness will start being resentful for unexplainable reasons. You will start feeling dissatisfied. You will start, losing your health, your sleep. You will be restless and anxious because there is no proper exchange. There is insincerity. Insincerity is improper energetic exchange. That's what insincerity in relationships is. And insincerity always leads to breakups, to disconnection, and disconnection or connection is again matched by frequency. When you say you have a connection, at that point you have similar frequency. Your give and take energetically is similar. That's how it works. So that's why it works. Once it stops or their focus goes elsewhere, they refocus, it means there is mismatch. Or they don't give you enough, you start being needy, you start complaining, or you are giving too much and they're not giving in the same way or not compensating it otherwise. You feel resentment or resentful. You feel dissatisfaction. And that's why you start undermining relationships, peace kind of, or tranquility, because you're trying to call that person out. The conflict, it originates from the fact that there is unequal give and take. There's mismatch in frequency, mismatch in expectations, and expectations is the same thing as, again, frequency, vision. One soul's vision is one way and the other one's is different. And even though you can reconcile these differences by talking and presenting your differences or the difference in opinions and try to communicate, still you will be depleting through such communication and relationships because they're not fulfilling. Because on an energetic level, you will be unfulfilled. That's where people cheat. That's where people constantly glide along the surface and try to get new supply, new relationship, because it's a new supply, because energetically they weren't connected to anyone deeply. And in order to connect deeply, you have to be vulnerable and in that frequency of love, that higher frequency of love, not lust, but high frequency of love, because lust means you are in need of energetic supply, and usually it's a sexual energy or some sort of a form of attention, which allows you to believe that or to think of yourself as being something. When there is no energy supply, you feel like you're nothing. That's narcissism. And most of the people, because of being narcissistic and energetically depleted, glide along the surface and look for such form of relationship, which will be a quick fix or a quick supply. And they can't understand what genuine relationships are, what authentic love is. And so they glide along the surface, they cheat, they cannot enjoy love because their exchange is superficial. They don't involve themselves energetically, but they expect other people to involve themselves energetically. And thus, if those people do, sooner or later, those people will feel dissatisfied. They will feel that this relationship is superficial, and they will see that behind the words, I love you, I appreciate you, I care of you, stands nothing but just a mind control to keep that supply. Those people are energetic vampires and have to be recognized for who they are. Because no matter how much you talk, how much you try to explain other people, it is the frequency that drives any relationship. And you have to remember that next time you have a relationship, you either have to allow yourself to be authentic, but you be authentic with people who are also authentic. If you see that people are reserved, blocked, unhealthy, imbalanced, let them be on a distance. Let them heal themselves first and then come to your authentic being and recognize your authentic being for what it is once they've recognized they're wrong. And that's why you may say, or you may ask me, does it mean that I will never find a relationship, or how can I live life? Well, it is difficult to say because the majority of people are unhealed, traumatized, misaligned, imbalanced, and yet they are in the energy supply is in very high demand. And this energy supply is validation, attention, other people's warmth and love. And so these people are predators, and they're the majority. It's like we're speaking about the rest of the world. And whether you call yourself a narcissist or an empath, it's one and the same thing, just different sides of the same coin. Whoever you are, whatever you call yourself, it is your energy that defines you. It is the space of consciousness that defines you. And this space of consciousness will create vibration through your body and through your actions. And so when you relate to other people, you usually attract what you are. And you relate to other people on the same frequency you emanate. And only by communicating and trying to be as authentic as possible, to accepting your vulnerability and other people's vulnerabilities, communicating about it, and only after you stop playing games for receiving that supply from the outside, or trying to gain that supply, you focus within and you restore your natural being, you align within and you regain authenticity, which result in self-love and true self-love and true self-respect. And then when you say someone you love them, you mean it because it emanates. But unless you are two in the picture and you are both of the same kind, authentic, you will not be happy or satisfied in a relationship. And that's where you have to always be responsible for your own space, of consciousness, you can't control other people. You can only give them space and time to heal. And very often, if people are not vibrating the same frequency, it's better to let them go instead of suffering and trying to make something out of them without them actually wishing that to themselves or for themselves. And so if people don't want to heal or be authentic, just let them go. Let them go through experiences so that they come back to this understanding that only by being authentic and aligned with oneself, they can restore through feeling of self-love. And only when you are aligned with this higher frequency of love within yourself, you respect and love yourself, then you can establish healthy relationship through love, relationships in general, and kind of a more aligned and harmonious life in the outside. Thank you very much, and I hope this video helped someone. If you like the content, please subscribe and comment if you have certain questions you want me to address. And click that super thanks if you appreciate the content. Thank you.